Hi, this is Carrie. Welcome back to Project U 2.2, the podcast where we explore stories, choices, and experiences that help us reclaim our spark and step fully into our lives. Today's guest is someone whose energy, humor, and authenticity have inspired countless people in Grand Rapids. She is Rachael Gray from 105.3 Hot FM, a mom, adventurer, storyteller, and just an all-around fun force of life. Rachael, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. That was quite the introduction. I was not expecting that.
You're usually on this end of it, so this is
Yes. It's kind of nice
fun.
to sit back and relax. This is great.
So I have listened to Rachel's show, and how cool to have your own show. When I first became a mom, I have 3 boys, and so I thought, oh, having boys will let me be the queen of the house, and this will be the Carrie show. But unfortunately, it's not quite
No.
that
Yeah.
way when you're a mom. And I first met Rachael this past fall at a Grand Valley State University football game. I was with my oldest son, Hayden, and he noticed her in the parking lot. It was windy that day.
Yeah.
Her tent was blowing away, and so we ran over to help her. I think you even had a knee brace on, and it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
lot. Was it a knee brace?
Yeah, I actually had ACL surgery last fall. That was my first event out when I saw you guys that day because I was in a locked straight leg brace for like 6 weeks after ACL surgery. So I was very grateful for your help when my tent was blowing away.
Oh, the recovery is going well. I've seen some pictures and some videos. You look like you're recovered.
I'm doing all right. Yep, I'm doing all right. I can't snow ski this year, which is what put me in that situation in the first place. So I'm really bummed about that because it's one of my favorite hobbies with my kids. But yes, my recovery is doing well. I'm like 13 weeks in, but recovery is actually 9 to 12 months on a new ACL. So I'm going to be down for a while, but at least I'm getting around and not walking weird anymore. So there's that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. When I look at your life, Rachael, you are busy. You're doing morning shows, you're
Yeah.
parenting and not skiing right now, but
No.
it looks like you're going with your kids. I know you
Yeah.
love tie-dyeing, country music. Do you ever feel like you're just a superhero or just totally exhausted?
That actually never is how I feel. It's so funny because people say this to me all the time. So what people don't realize is, yes, I do the morning show, and that's live every single day from 6 to 10 a.m. But I'm also on a country station, which you just brought up, and that's pre-recorded. That's Thunder 107.3 here in Grand Rapids. If you're listening out of state, you can go to thunder1073.com. But I'm also on a station in Albuquerque. I'm on a station in Saginaw, Michigan, and just as of 2 months ago, I started doing a music show in Toledo, Ohio as well. So that is actually all pre-recorded stuff that I do in other markets, but the morning show is live every single day, and I produce that whole thing with my partner Rob, and juggling that with my kids and my life and all of the other hobbies that we have as a family. That has been something that's kind of taken time to get to because I think before I felt exhausted and scatterbrained, but now I've gotten really good at like what I want to prioritize and where I need to rest when I need to.
That's amazing. I didn't realize you did all of those other shows. That makes you even more
Yeah,
of a superhero
no,
or a juggler.
juggler maybe, but not superhero. It's kind of like it's one of those things they keep saying, "Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's fun." It's easy when you actually like what you do. Not everybody's as lucky to be able to say that, but I love doing those music shows. It's a blast, and it's pre-recorded. I can do it every single day, and they gave me the equipment. I can do it at home, which is great.
Wow, that's
Hmm.
awesome. All right. When I was a teacher, I loved to put my students in a hot seat and we would
Okay.
ask them. So my favorite number is
Okay.
22. We would ask them 22 questions. I won't ask you that many,
Oh,
but just to get to know them a little bit better. So I
okay.
have a few hot seat questions for you. Okay.
All
First
right.
one.
Fire away.
All right. A weird habit that your husband or kids would expose if they could.
A weird habit. I'm really bad at flushing the toilet.
I wouldn't expect that from
That's
a
just a
mom.
gross habit. I never want to wake anybody up, and I go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I go to the bathroom at like 4 a.m., I never flush the toilet. They wake up every morning to my pee.
Oh. And I actually get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. That's
Yep.
perfect.
Yep. And I, at this point now, I just forget all the time.
Yes, yeah, becomes a
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
Okay, most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on air.
Oh, most embarrassing thing that's happened to me on air. I said shit once. That was
Oh,
pretty embarrassing. Yeah. I also accidentally aired our traffic guy saying that word. I'm sure you probably don't allow cussing. Feel free to edit that if you need to. Um, that probably was one of the most embarrassing. So we have a traffic guy that you hear during the morning show, and he does every commercial break, and he's great. His name is Dave Cackley. But it's my job to catch it when somebody curses or says the wrong word. And he submitted a traffic report that he messed up on in the middle of it. Can I say a bad word? Is that okay?
yes, yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
In the middle of it, he goes, "Oh shit balls." And it went over the air. And normally, like when I said the bad word, we have a button in the studio called the dump button, and I hit it and it takes us back 20 seconds. This traffic guy said the word. I was moving on to my next thing and prepping what I was going to be doing on the air next. I didn't hear it. And all of a sudden, a guy in the other studio is banging on the wall. Dave Cackley just said, "Oh, shit balls." And yeah, it went over the air. And that was so embarrassing because for me, that's my job to like get that.
Yes.
But I didn't. It was way more embarrassing for Dave Cackley, though. I do have to. He was mortified.
With the balls added onto the end of it, it kind of makes it a little bit more fun.
Yes, and listeners were laughing. I mean, there was a point where they were like, "Kick him off our station." I'm like, everybody makes mistakes. Absolutely not. I literally sent an email making sure that he didn't get booted off the station because people were so mad. But I was mortified because I missed it. And when you miss something like that, they'll
Right.
fire you for that. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
high pressure, yeah, especially when you're live.
Yeah, high
Okay, what
pressure.
about the weirdest, strangest, craziest thing that a listener has ever said to you?
I had this guy come up to me, and it's always funny to me because like listeners, they only hear me in the morning. It's very they have to follow me on social media to know what I look like. So when I do these broadcasts out in public, I had this guy come up to me and he goes, "Oh my God, you sound so much uglier than you actually look." I was like, "I don't know if that was a compliment, sir. You're saying I'm better looking than I sound. I'm offended, but thank you." That's what I said to him. Yeah, that
Right,
was a wild
right,
one. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
You're great at this
Oh,
hot seat
good. Well, I
earlier.
talk for a living.
Yes, yes. How about if you could have one person on your show, who would it be? And let's hope they listen to this podcast.
Oh my God. If I could have one person, any person, who would it be?
Mhm.
Oh, there's a lot of artists I would love to talk to. And I hate to sound cliche, but Taylor Swift, Beyonce, those are my favorite artists. But man, if I could talk to anybody, I would love to talk to Mel Robbins. Do you know
Oh,
Mel?
oh, yes, I do.
Okay, so Mel Robbins, who does the Let Them theory,
Yes,
she is from Norton Shores
yes.
originally.
North
And
Muskegon, yes.
yes, and she's from Muskegon. And I would love to talk to Mel Robbins because I feel like she is the person in this world that I started following, realizing she's pushing people to get to that positive place and stop letting like the negativity of the world bog them down. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, she would be great. That
She
would
would
be
be great.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, you have a co-host, Rob.
Yes.
So if he was with us right now, what's one thing he would tell us that you've done recently to maybe annoy him or to make him laugh?
Well, I hope I make him laugh every day, but I not always. I annoy Rob to no end because he thinks I'm too go, 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 go all the time. And it drives him crazy. I'll have 7 ideas at once. I'm like, we should do this, this, and this, this, and this. And he'll be like, you have to slow down. I can't get all of this. Like, you're stressing me out. So he would say that's probably the most annoying thing about me, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because our different personalities, I think, are what make our show work. If we were the same, nobody would listen.
Right.
He and I are very different, but we're also very good friends. Honestly, I think the thing that he would say that makes him laugh is he is my sounding board for everything. So if I get in an argument with my husband, if my kids do something to send me over the edge, he's the first face I see in the morning. So he has to take all of that in. It sucks to be Rob. It really does.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's a fun
He's the
banter that
best.
you two have. So
Yeah,
it's
he's the
great.
best. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, great job being in the hot seat.
Oh, that was it. All right.
Okay, we're going to dig in now. So,
Okay.
being live every morning takes so much energy. And as a teacher, I remember just being in the spotlight, and you're there if you're feeling well, if you're not feeling well, if you're
Yeah.
crabby, if you're tired. So, how do you show up day after day, even
Mhm.
when maybe life is messy or you're just
Yeah.
exhausted?
You know, it honestly came out of practice. I had times where I had to do the show after my dad was in the hospital and his aorta ruptured. Those were such hard days. He was in rehab. I mean, it was terrible. There were times I did the show the day after my cousin died of an overdose. And the day I did that show, I remember crying in between commercial breaks, but having to fight through it just to like keep my energy up to do it. Um, and here's one thing I have learned from that is that when I was younger, I was really bad at giving myself that break when I needed it. I should have never been doing the show when my family was going through so much and my dad almost died, or when my cousin passed away. I should have never been there. But I think that there are days where I am just like, oh, I am not in the mood. I slept for 4 hours because my alarm goes off at 3:45 and whatever. And honestly, for the most part, I tell myself, you have to be live for 4 hours. You can get through this. It's 4 hours of your life. Everything will be fine. And I kind of just do the best I can in those situations. But I have learned to use my time now. I used to never take time off, which looking back, what a nut. Take your time off.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I, as a teacher, same, was there.
Hmm.
My grandma passed for her funeral. We
Yeah.
took a half a day and then went back because we think that
Right.
the world can't revolve without us, right?
Yes.
And we should take that time. We
Yeah, well, it's
absolutely
also like it made me feel so self-centered. Like, oh, really? They need to hear me that bad making jokes on the air. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all go through things. Like, we have to be able to take that time for ourselves. And I think when I was younger, they almost were made you fearful to like take a day off work. But now I also have a great general manager now who's like, "Hey, you have time left. You need to burn it," like to make sure that I'm using my vacation days. But then it was a different world and pushing through in that. Like, I can't believe you went to back to work after your grandmother died. That's crazy. Like, now, could you imagine doing that?
right. No,
Yeah.
in fact,
No way.
yeah. No, I would encourage anyone, yes, to use
Yes.
those days. And I think and you're right that today the mental health is just more of a forefront in our
Mhm.
world and really focusing on our families and what's important and
Yeah.
priorities.
Mhm. Right, and what matters. It kinda I guess sometimes you gotta go through it to figure it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's kinda how I feel about that, and days when I don't feel up to it, I always think to myself, "Well, my family's happy and healthy. I may be grumpy right now," but I also tell myself that the people I'm talking to in the morning could be having a lot worse days than I am, and if I am bringing some kind of fun to them going to their terrible job that they hate or, whatever their day is, whatever's making their day bad, if I can make it a little bit better just by being there, I tell myself that too sometimes if I don't
I
feel
love
up to
that
it.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good.
Mhm.
Okay, so my next question is to walk us through a typical morning, and I knew you had to get up early, but
Yeah.
3:45. So
Yeah.
we're we're in the first. I would love for you to tell us a typical bedtime, but then walk us through your
Okay.
typical morning, like from prep to showtime, the chaos, the magic, just maybe
Okay.
that only the insiders know.
Okay, here. So my alarm does go off at 3:45 in the morning. Most nights, 90% of the time, I am in bed by 8 o'clock. When my kids go to bed, I go right to my room, but I'm usually working. I'm looking for what I'm talking about the next day or sending Rob some things, and I'm asleep most nights by 9:30. And I'll read a little bit sometimes. And fun fact, if you have trouble sleeping at night, I started becoming like an avid reader, and it helps me go to bed. So that has helped a lot. So I average about like 6 hours of sleep a night, depending. And I get up at 3:45. My first alarm goes off. I don't think I get out of bed till 4. Today, I didn't shower today. I threw a beanie on. I went to work because this was the only meeting I had today, babe. I'm sorry you didn't get a shower out of me. Ah. So I leave the house usually between 4:30 and 4:40. I'm to the studio at about 10 to 5 every day. I get in. Michelle McCormick, who does the sister station, 97 LEV, our classic rock station. She is my very best friend in the whole wide world, which is so funny because she's a year younger than my mother. And we do everything together. She waits for me and we walk in together. She and I are the first ones in the building every single day. We get our coffee. She makes me feel better in my soul every single day meeting her. Like she's my favorite human. So I do my little fun thing with her. Hey, did you see this happen? Did you see this? What are you talking about today? We kind of go over our shows together sometimes. And then I start recording my other stations before I've even started the morning show. So by 5:10 usually, I am already recording Saginaw and I'm already recording my Toledo stations. And those are just fun music stations that I do where I only talk in between the songs. Each of those stations take me, God, I shouldn't even say this. I'm going to say it though, about 15, 20 minutes a piece. And they're about 5-hour shows. Not everybody can do that. I have been doing it for a long time, so it's become like second nature to me. So once I finish those 2 shows, Rob usually walks in, and then I go over with him what I call a show sheet, everything we have put together for the day. And then we do the show from 5 to 10. And then when 10 a.m. hits, I do my 2 other shows in Albuquerque and my country station. And then when I get done with that, I meet with my sales reps to see what clients need attention, who needs commercials cut, who needs advertising done. If there's any clients we're going after that I need to meet with that week, because that's another thing I do a lot is I go meet with our clients and figure out new advertising deals. And if everything is wiped out and nobody needs me, I will usually leave work around 11. Yeah. So, but 11 is nice. Like I would never be able to go back to like a 9 to 5. I know people think, oh my God, you get up so early. I got the best of both worlds as a mom because when my kids were babies, I was coming home every day to my kids at the house. Like I got to work and make a full-time salary and do a job. And then I would come home and sometimes finish at home when the kids would nap. And I got to be home with them too. So I always say this is the best job in the world for me as a mom because I got to be a working mom, but also a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like a well-oiled machine, and I just want to understand something a little bit
Yeah.
more from a non-radio person. So you record these shows, takes you 15, 20 minutes, and then they're just playing those comments in between songs, or do you do the whole
Yeah.
song lineup too?
So songs, when you hear them on the radio, are actually put together by a programmer. A programmer is the person that creates the music logs. Now, the logs of every song that's going to play get submitted. So all the logs for tomorrow will probably be in the system today by 5, and it'll all be ready to go for me the next day. So that means when I come in tomorrow, all the logs will be put there. I'll know exactly what that radio station's going to play. And then I have different slots where I talk in between songs. So I just get the tail end of one song and the beginning of the next song, and I put my content in the middle, and then I go to the next sec.
Wow.
I know, technology. It didn't used to be this way. This started, a little while ago.
Okay, so that's a lot. You are going hard while you're there and you're on. Are
Yeah.
there, I mean, we all have off days. Are there ever any days where you just think like, I can't do this today?
Yes, that happens. Yeah. And I will be honest with you, this is the first time in this career, I think, that I have been in a position where I can say, I need a day. My voice, I'm not feeling it, or I don't have the energy, or I didn't sleep last night, or I have a sick kid at home. Somebody in my house has the flu or whatever. I now have the ability, and I know partly it's because I've been there for so long. I now have the ability to go, I'm not coming in today, and here's why, and I'm taking a day, and everybody's cool with it. There are days where I do that, but it doesn't happen too often anymore. And when it does, yeah, I'll just take the day and stay home.
Yeah, you and Rob have to coordinate those days. So
We do. Yeah, we do. So I'll text him, like, even sometimes the night before, I am not feeling good, or hey, Bennett, my son Bennett, maybe he's sick or whatever, and I can't make it in. He'll be like, all right, I'll figure it out in the morning, and I'll kind of hash it out with him. Rob is a work husband through and through. Your morning show partner is somebody you see just as much as your spouse. It's the weirdest relationship. Mhm.
Okay, you shared an embarrassing moment where you were at the shitballs.
Yeah.
What about something live like that was funny or unexpected that happened live on air?
Oh my gosh. I think there's so much that happens live on air and unexpected. So we plan pretty much a lot of what we're going to talk about. What we don't plan is exactly where that conversation is going to go. So sometimes when Rob and I are having these conversations about life or, God knows what, sometimes it's really off the wall stuff. It becomes something that you didn't expect it to be. Like, Okay, this is really gross, so prepare yourself. Uh, we were having a discussion about our parents embarrassing us. And sometimes when we're just sitting there firing off the cuff and we try to make each other laugh too, conversations turn into something that you don't expect it to be. But I had shared, and I never expected to say this on the radio, that as a child, I had pinworms. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're a teacher. You know what that is. Okay. Pinworms are literal butt worms that kids can get. And I used to chew my fingernails. And that's how I got them. At least that's what the doctor said. I don't know if that's true. That's what they said in the mystical time of the 90s. And my mom used to, and I was telling the story on the air, and I kind of like forgot that I was telling the story on the air. I thought it was just, sometimes I'm just talking to Rob and I forget, 20 to 30,000 people are listening. And I'm telling him, oh my God, my mom used to come in my room at night and she would look at my butt with a flashlight because they would only come out in the dark. And he's laughing so hard, he's crying. And I'm like, oh my God, I just said that on the radio. But she used to tell people about it all the time and it would mortify me. And I would be an adult and she'd be like, hey, Rach, remember those pinworms? And that, it's relatable, but it's one of those things like, yeah, I didn't expect that to come out today.
Right.
Yeah, stuff happens though.
Oh, as a
Mhm.
mom of 3 boys, I'm glad I've never had to.
I was gonna say, did you ever have that in your household?
Yeah.
I've never had to deal with it in my household either, and I don't know if I was just dirty or like what was going on. Something was up though.
Oh, something.
Yeah.
Okay, you work alongside Rob.
Yeah.
How do you keep, okay, because with a spouse, you have fights, you get
Yeah.
irritated with each other. How do
Uh-huh.
you keep that like chemistry fresh and authentic and just fun?
I mean this when I say Rob is he's my fifth partner. He's my fifth partner doing morning radio. He is the best partner I've ever had. We have our arguments and we have our bickers and we'll have disagreements and sometimes we'll have hard conversations about how I handled this and I hurt his feelings or he handled this and I didn't like the way blah blah blah. We have those conversations, and honestly, the conversations I have with Rob are probably much healthier than the ones I have with my husband. But we're partners, right? Like it has to succeed, and without us getting along, it doesn't succeed. So I think I hit it like when something bothers me, he and I are much more diplomatic about it than I would be with my spouse. You know how your husband ticks you off, and I'll never forget. Aaron didn't fold his laundry for like 3 days once, and I'm very type A, and I got so mad that I threw them down the stairs, and I was like, "Please do your laundry." Like I would like that. I would never treat Rob that way.
Right. You should throw him outside.
No, but he folded. But Rob and I, we do have our disagreements, but the best thing about our partnership is we are really good about not holding grudges. If we have a conversation that is heated or that we need to discuss, or because Rob is also the boss, and we have conversations that sometimes we have to have with him as the boss. And that has become something that we've been very good at because we can bounce back and we're like, we're on tomorrow. You know what I mean? We also wait until we're done with the show if we have anything we need to address with each other, which is like almost an out of respect thing. Because if we're mad at each other, you'll know on the air. Yeah. So, I mean, we have our arguments just like anybody else.
You're probably like the firstborn child there, where if anyone else is annoyed with Rob, they're like, let Rachel deal with it. Give it to Rachel.
100. Yes. Yeah. And honestly, he and I get along so well. Like I know there's a lot of morning shows that fake it. I've known him over the years. I'm so glad I don't have to fake it with Rob. Like I can't say that enough. I actually wish he was here. I should probably tell him that to his face tomorrow. I'll make him listen.
I think he knows.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So when I look at some of your Instagram posts, I see, in fact, I just saw one of your kids skiing down a hill. And
Yeah.
So first of all, I was amazed at how good they were at
Yeah.
such a young age. But then I was even more amazed at whoever was recording behind them. That was amazing.
Yeah. That was my husband. Yeah.
I was thinking it was you, but then you said no.
Yeah. So I used to be the film photographer mom out on the ski hill. My kids, so my husband, his grandfather like created the Michigan High School Ski Association, the MHSSA, in like the 70s. And my husband comes from a family of skiers, and they all learned to ski when they were like 3. As soon as they could walk, they were skiing essentially. So as soon as our kids could walk, he taught them to ski. And Now they're racing. Now they do ski meets. Like we were on the east side of the state for a ski meet over the weekend, and my daughter, she's 8, and my son is 6, and both of them are just awesome and they love it. But I used to be out there filming them while they followed dad. Now he can barely keep up with them. Like it's so cool to watch your kids grow and succeed and love something. I didn't have like I played soccer growing up, but like I didn't have a love for something like they do with the skiing thing. It's pretty cool. Hmm.
That is awesome. We went skiing as a family once, and my husband had done it growing up.
Yeah.
I remember we did an hour lesson, and he's like, "Okay, you're ready." So he took us up a hill, and the whole time I was up there with my 3-year-old, worried about him. But then
Yeah.
I had everything I had learned in my lesson was like gone. I finally had to just like put my poles up and go down. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna swear right now, and I'm not a swearer normally, but I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, holy. I mean, the whole way
Yeah.
down, I was like, I could see body parts flying or crashing into
Yes.
somebody. So yeah, to
It's a
see your
scary
kids
thing.
doing that, yeah.
Yeah. My husband taught me to ski after we got married. I never had skied. I grew up in Indiana before I moved to Michigan when I was 14. And my parents didn't ski. Like, we never came from a skiing family, but he taught me how to ski. And then I took time off from it because I had the kids. And then once the kids started skiing, I was like, if I don't get good at this, I'm going to be stuck in the lodge and I'm not going to be a part of this. So now it's a thing. Now we go out west every year, and my kids are skiing so well that, like, with me and my knee injury, I have quite literally been in tears that I have not been able to ski with them. And it's a very cool thing because it's almost like a hobby you can do no matter how old your kids get. You can always do it together. So I don't know. I never expect it to be so important to me. But my husband, he's now coaching the ski program for Bittersweet Ski Resort. He's one of the coaches that they've got for the Ascent program. So he's busy. I mean, he's also doing like his dad's beer league, and he's busy doing that with the kids. And that's why they've gotten so good, though, because they're out there all the time.
That is
Hmm.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I need a lesson from your husband.
I mean, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Yeah.
So how do you balance all of that? Your high
Yeah.
energy careers, plural, you have a lot going on, and still fit those hobbies in that you like to do.
Time management. I say this all the time. I feel like sometimes too many people are bad at organizing their time. And I talk a lot about this because I think that I have a routine and I stick to my routine. And as long as my routine is stuck to, my day will not be thrown off. Every single day, I make it so that I get time to myself. My kids are in school now, but even when they were home and I had like, because they're only about 18 months apart, even when they were at home, I would time out their naps to be together so that mom could lay down for 2 hours just so I could be rejuvenated for the second half of the day because I had been up since 3:45 doing the morning show, even when they were babies. But now it's really a matter of like learning to balance the things that are priorities versus the things that you can make wait. Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I had a meeting at the end of the week this week, and I was like, "You know what? That is not a necessary meeting to do. I'm going to push that to the following week, and I'll still do it, but I need to make sure that when I get out of work on Friday that I have a little time for myself before the kids get out of school." So
Mhm.
it's really about work management and I guess organizing your time because I think that sounds easier than it is, and I know that, but it can be hard for some people.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a first are you a firstborn?
Am. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that type of
It
person.
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So music is a huge part of your life.
Mhm.
And I think I remember hearing that country is your favorite. Is that true?
I like everything, but I did grow up listening to like 90s country, like 90s country. That it's its own genre. That's what I always say.
Okay, yes, yeah, I do agree.
Mhm.
So, with your world consumed by music all morning long, I want to know what your car rides are like. Do you have music on or is it quiet?
I do have music on, but it is not what I play because I listen to all of that all morning long. Um, I like all music. I like bands. I like rap. I like 90s rock. I love 90s country. I grew up on Reba and Garth and all that. But when I'm in the car and I'm on my way in, there is one thing I love to do, and it's to discover new music that people haven't heard. In this world of streaming, I always want to know what is trending, what's streaming, what's cool right now. So if I'm on my way to work, I'm usually streaming music and looking for the next big thing. I have a segment on the show that I do called 5 Ones to Watch, and that's my music discovery when I find things that I think are going to be a hit or end up on the station within 6 months. And usually, I always brag, like 90% of the time I'm right. But when I'm on my way into work in the morning, I remember I moved 20 minutes away from the city. I used to live in downtown, and I was so mad about moving. I didn't want to leave. I wanted my kids to do school of choice, so we moved out of the city, and now we're in the burbs. But I was so mad about that 20-minute ride. Now I love it because now I can sit in the car and discover new music, new artists, things that I like, things that I don't, or rediscover things that I used to like that maybe I forgot about. But yeah, I love everything. My TikTok page is very music centric.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You mentioned Reba, and I just did a podcast with Heather Green from Celebrity Style Guide.
I love that.
And she's one of my dearest friends, used to live 2 doors down from me. But when I asked her, because she gets to go on sets and meet people,
Yeah.
and so I asked her favorite, and it was Reba.
I've heard she's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
awesome. All right, we're going to switch gears to your
Okay.
dog. Your
Oh
smart
God.
lab.
I'm surprised he's being quiet. He is in his crate with a chew toy right now.
Oh,
I know.
well, I have a little 10-pounder.
Let me
I
see.
do have to pick up right now because he's
Oh, baby.
Calvin.
What's his name?
Calvin. So my
Kelvin.
husband did not want a dog. He went to Calvin College, so that was kind of the
Oh,
hook that we
yeah.
had into the dog
You get to
world.
name the dog Calvin.
Yes.
Yeah. My 8-month-old lab is a lot of energy, but he's such a good dog. I love him so much.
So I saw you doing some tricks, and that
Yes.
is so smart.
Oh, yeah.
So I was a high school math teacher for 31 years. And so during COVID, which is when we got Calvin, I had so much time to teach him
Yeah.
tricks. And so I started by teaching him to speak by pointing my finger at him. And
Yeah.
then I switched it to raising my eyebrows.
Yeah.
So when I would ask him to do a math problem, I would say, and he's sitting here, I don't want him to start barking, but I would say, like, what is, and I'd give him a math problem. But I would raise my eyebrows for the answer. So if the answer
Yeah.
was 4, I'd raise my eyebrows 4 times and he'd bark 4 times. And so everyone was just always amazed because they're
That's
watching him.
impressive.
And
The eyebrows is
that's
impressive.
my challenge for you to do. So I'm
Okay.
here. What are your tricks for your dog?
I taught him safety where he like goes behind me and goes between my legs. I taught him to heel. He can stay to the point that I can leave another room before he comes to me, which is actually surprising. He will stay until I say something. You know what I've realized though? It doesn't work outside. He's good inside. Outside's a problem. It's a
Maybe
problem.
squirrels.
Yes, he gets so distracted and he'll take off on me. But like, yeah, I taught him to go to his place, and then he's got a big giant crate that's in my husband's office around the corner. And at night, I'll say, "Go to your bed. It's time to go to bed. Go to your bed." And then he'll grab his little baby and like go get in his bed and lay on his bed. He really is such a good dog. But man, 8 months old in a lab. If I could get him to stop jumping on people, that would be awesome. I'm working on that.
That's the next.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my next step.
That is a good. Yeah, when they're a bigger lab versus a 10-pound, it makes a
Yeah,
difference.
he is a hoss. He's probably going to be close to 80 pounds. He's big. Yeah, he's a big boy. I know.
Okay, so you thrive on adventure.
Yeah.
And so adventure can be scary, it can be fun sometimes. So
Yeah.
what's a moment outside of work that taught you something maybe about courage or about joy?
About joy and courage. I like going places out of my comfort zone. So I always say this, like growing up, my parents took me to like the same place in Florida every single year. We'd go to the same place for spring break and whatever. I very much so like getting out of my comfort zone, seeing new cultures, meeting people that don't have the same life I do. I think it's very important for people to get out of their bubbles. And because of that, I like to go to places that I've never seen before. It's like, it's my thing. Like we did, oh my gosh, Michelle and I was talking about her earlier from our sister station, Classic Rock 97 LAV. She and I on a whim drove and went and flew out to Banff, which is in Canada, and went and saw Lake Louise. And I had no plans. I flew out the day after Thanksgiving. It was something I just did, and I never had done anything like that before. Just packed that. Let's go. We're just gonna go. And I left my kids at home. My husband was like, "You're doing what?" We also, gosh, we went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico last year. My family was so weirded out by this. Her and I went. She was turning 60. She was like, "Just come with me. I got a condo. We're gonna stay there." But usually when people go to Mexico, they always go to an all-inclusive resort or they're in a beautiful hotel. We rented a studio bedroom. Like it wasn't even like there was no room. It was literally just a studio that overlooked the ocean of Puerto Vallarta at a random condo complex. We took the city bus everywhere. I took a boat. I paid $60 for this cute, sweet boy to take me to this island that you could only get to by boat so that she and I could pay another 16-year-old sweet boy to take me up a mountain so that I could go jump in a waterfall. That was probably the most recent. But my husband's like, "What do you mean you're paying teenagers to take you on a four-wheeler up a mountain?" It was brave. I didn't know. I don't know the culture, but I was learning and I wanted to see all the beauty of it. And everybody I knew was like, "You're a psycho. Why would you do that?" But it was the coolest thing. And just to be clear, it's not even the least bit scary. People just want you to be afraid. It's not scary to, get out of your comfort zone and meet people that are different from you.
I agree. When I retired this past August, I went on a women's retreat and met 7 strangers in Greece and Italy.
That's amazing. Good for you. That's so awesome.
And it's hard though. You're like, wait, is this a scam? Is this real?
Yes.
Then I got there and they were all young. I was 53 and they're all 23, 27, but it was fabulous.
Who cares? I bet it was amazing. Yes. And that's kind of how I felt. Like my whole life, people have told me to fear going places in other countries. And I was sitting there in Puerto Vallarta watching the humpback whales breaching out of this condo. And it was so cheap. It was like $90 a night to stay in this nice condo. But because it wasn't a resort, people were afraid. And I'm like, this is amazing. The people were so nice. And yeah, it was probably one of my most out of the box things I did to be brave and to push myself a little bit. Cause I come from a family in Indiana that terrifies them.
Yeah. And it is hard. A year ago, I did Dancing with the Local Stars.
You did?
Way not me. In fact,
that's awesome.
The year before, and I said no. And then I kind of carried a little bit of quiet regret with that. So finally, I was like, fine, I'll do it. But it is scary to put yourself, on stage dancing. I'm not a dancer, and to dance with thousands of people watching you. But those are the moments I think we truly grow and experience so much joy and get a little bit of our spark back again.
Yes. And when I came home, I was like, I would take my kids there. That's how safe I felt during the time that I was there. The food was amazing. It was just great. And then you talk to people and they're like, I would never go to Mexico without leaving the resort. Okay. If you don't want to experience anything, why go?
Right.
That's amazing that you did the local dancing celebrity stars thing. I've seen this, and I have to tell you, that would be so far out of my comfort zone.
Oh, maybe this is a little plug, a little.
No, I'm not doing that.
I said that at first too, Rachel. It's a commitment, so maybe when your kids are a little bit older, because the time commitment, but it's for good. It's
for a good cause, right?
For food banks, and it was honestly one of the best experiences of my life to do after.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So awesome. And
love
at the
that.
end of the dance, I got to fly, and a guy held me up, and it was fabulous.
Oh my God, you were Jennifer Grey in Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, so life is not always glamorous. And I love talking to people like you who are just down to earth and real about the experiences. And so you share weird, you share funny, but human moments like my water fleas, or the itchy butt story, or your with a flashlight. And those are the moments I think that people can relate to, and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Just remind us that we are figuring out life as we go.
Yes.
As a former teacher, I loved connecting with my students by just sharing real, funny stories. And when my kids were younger, before they were my students, I could focus the stories around my kids. I had to change that as my kids grew older. And
I can relate. Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, I feel like that's what you do with your listeners, that you're not afraid to share those weird or funny moments.
I just feel like everybody has their own stories of stuff that's happened. So, like, why would I not share mine? Like, who cares?
Can you
Mhm.
think of another funny one or a story that
Oh,
your listeners would never expect
sure.
about a normal day in Rachel's life?
A story that no, it's a normal day in Rachel's life. Um, I'm trying to think like an everyday thing that I do. You mean?
Or just a funny story. I mean, like the one with your mom coming in with the
I
flashlight.
know. I'm sure I've got a million of those. I feel like all my stories go back to my childhood. I probably need more therapy. I blame my parents for everything. I do think okay, so I have a son who is 6 years old and my daughter is 8 and she is like oh my gosh, she is like a carbon copy of my husband. She's very cautious. She eases her way into everything. And my son is me. This is who he is. He's going to say what he thinks and none of it doesn't matter what you think cuz he's going to say it. Like that's just how he is. And my everyday with my kids is quite funny because they are so different. But my son Bennett, I started making a list of all of the wild things that he says. And he right now has like this obsession with boobs. And he says to me just the other day, Mom, did you know that your boobs, when they're in a bra, look like a butt? And I was like, I guess you're right, buddy. Thanks. I appreciate that. But he says things like that. Like I'm to the point too where I can't be like naked around my kids anymore because they ask too many questions. Because for a while I was like, oh, who cares, right? It's we're all fine here. Like I have it now. I'm like I can't. But he's the kind of kid who's like constantly making the comments about this, that, and the other thing. And in my life, I feel like that's where my hilarity comes in as a parent. He keeps me humble. That's for sure. He asked me why my tushy was so big and white.
I
Dead
love
serious.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
It isn't. It is not.
Yeah.
It is white.
Oh, it is. It hasn't seen the sun since I tanned in 2005.
I love how observant Bennett is. I think that's
Yes.
funny, like how some kids, and I feel like I'm not as observant. My oldest son, Hayden, is very observant, takes everything in. And
Yeah.
it sounds like, yeah, Bennett is the
He's
same
the
way.
sweetest, though. Hayden is the sweetest. I know he's probably going to listen to this, and I adore him.
Oh,
He's the
he's a
best.
good kid. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
So parenting definitely comes with so many surprises. You don't really ever know what's coming out of their
Mhm.
mouth. So any hilarious fails or maybe mishaps with your kids that still make you laugh today?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually, so this will haunt me forever. My daughter, I was a brand new mom. My daughter was about 5 months old, and I had gone down to Indianapolis to see my family for Christmas. And I have childhood best friends that I've known since I was like 6 that live down there. And I was at my girlfriend Allie's house. She and I were pregnant together. Our daughters are about 3 weeks apart. So the girls were meeting for the first time, and they're 5 months old, which means they're just drooling next to each other on a play mat. And she had bought them matching fleece pajamas. And I'm like, oh my God, they look so cute, right? I'm all excited. Well, we left to drive back to Michigan from Allie's house. My daughter Quinn is still in these fleece pajamas. Well, she's in her car seat, her fleece pajamas, and she has like one of those like covers over her car seat because it was the dead of winter. It was really cold outside. And we get home and she is like lethargic. Like I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. She's white and I'm yelling, Aaron, call 911, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, no, get in the car. So we put her in the car. She's in just a diaper and we fly into the hospital at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. I sit her into the front right where the emergency attendant is. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, something's wrong with my baby. Like I was freaking out, right? The nurse comes over and goes, well, let me take a look at her. And she looks down and my daughter looks up at her and just smiles, this like huge gummy smile. And she's 100% fine, 100% fine. They take her temperature, everything's fine. And I tell them like, oh, we just got home from Indianapolis, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, what does she have on? Oh, fleece pajamas. Well, she was in her car seat. Does your car seat have a cushion in it? Yeah. What else did she have on? Oh, she also had one of those domes that went around the top of it. They were like, you overheated her. And I'm like, I cooked my kid. I cooked my kid. So to this day, we still tell Quinn about the day we cooked her. That's the right. That's the running joke, but it was such a parent fail. But at the time, you're a new mom. You don't know. You just don't want him to be cold.
You're doing everything to keep them safe
Yes.
and cozy and
God,
warm.
I'll never forget her smiling up at that nurse attendant and that nurse attendant going, "Lady, you're nuts. Like, this kid's fine."
Yes.
Yeah, cooked her.
Now, Rachel, so do you think your storytelling and your connecting evolved over time, or
Oh,
has it
yeah.
always been like that? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that took time. That took time. I used to be very scatterbrained. When I first started in radio, I was 20. How old am I now? I'm 39 now, which means I was 22. Oh my God, I was 22. And I worked at a station in Port Huron, which is on, so if you're looking at the mitten, it's literally like on the other side in the thumb. Like you would look at Lake Huron from where the radio station was. It was pretty cool. But I was 22 and I would just go on the air and just talk, right? But I learned over time and with coaching, because they have consultants and coaches, and they teach you how to create your story, but make sure that your facts line up and make sense to people. Because I used to be like all over the place. But yeah, I think storytelling was something I just got better with. And even now, I'm like, some days I'm like, that could have been better. Yes, I can, squirrel. I will, divert.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I think just the life experiences that you have also.
Yes.
to
Yeah.
make-
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
contribute to that. So I think as a teacher, it's a fine line, and I'm sure it's with your job as well. Just maintaining like what's funny, what's weird, what's relatable, but
Yeah.
then sometimes it's too much. Like, how do you decide how much to share with
Oh,
listeners?
I go too far all the time. That's literally, yeah. Too much is what I do. I joke, actually. It's a running joke because I've said this all the time. My whole life, I've been called too much. Like, even I remember being in high school and people being like, God, she's a lot. God, she's a lot. Or even when I was a kid, like my grandparents, she is a lot. She is loud. And who's laughing now? But at the end of the day, like, maybe what people want to share is too much, and people do share too much all the time. But there's always going to be somebody that kind of gets it. You know what I mean? That's the hill I'll die on. I'll be too much. If I'm too much, that's all right. You can be less if you want to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that reminds me of our middle son who was a freshman in college, and he started doing some Minecraft
Oh yeah.
gaming and streaming online. And
Yeah.
I was always like, stop. You need to make sure you're focusing on your
Right.
studies. And now he has his diamond play button and is top 0.01% of a YouTuber in the world. And you're
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God.
joke is on me. And so same for
Yeah.
all of your relatives. Joke's on them.
Yeah.
You're a lot, but look at you now.
I know, like it doesn't bother me to be a lot. It's almost like I was actually talking to a girlfriend about this the other day. She goes, "You're never too much for me." And I was like, "That's so nice," because she's kind of like a newer friend. We made friends because our sons are really close and she lives in our neighborhood. And I was like, "That's so nice of you to say," because my whole life I've been told I was too much. She's like, "You are just enough." She's like, "I love how much you are." And I'm like, "That's so nice." Because you got to, at some point in life, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And here I am, like I will turn 40 this June, and I feel like I am just there. Like I just don't care. I don't care anymore.
I love that. I think 39 was the hardest age for me just because I
Really?
knew 40 was coming. And once I got to 40, I'm like, oh, I just worried about it for a year. It's fine.
Right.
It's great. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you, Rachel, I think 50s, every age with my kids, it was all great. And
Yeah.
I think 50s are the best decade. It is
So
just,
Gwyneth Paltrow said the same thing recently, and I was like, I got more to look forward to.
you do.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
you
great.
do.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, my mom was getting ready for I'm going to call it a Tupperware party or some kind
Yeah.
of a party, a home show. And I remember her sweating and saying, I don't even want to go to this dumb party anyways.
Yeah.
And so she took me, we're sitting in the party, and I remember thinking like, oh, I want to entertain these ladies. And so I pipe up as a little kid. My mom didn't want to come to this dumb party anyways. So as a mom, any funny or awkward moments that you can relate to or
Oh,
think about or unexpected?
yes. Oh, yes. My son, this happened, how old is he? 6. He was 4. I was in, God, I was in a public restroom. I don't remember where I was. I was so mad at him. I was going to the bathroom and he's standing next to me because like he was 4. I couldn't just let him run around a bathroom by himself. I'm in the handicap stall, judge me if you will. And he's in there with me and he's shouting, "My mom's pooping, my mom's pooping." And I remember being like, Alan, like, oh my God, yes, that was terrible. That was
I had
terrible.
a feeling the story was going to be about Bennett.
Yeah, I know. He's wild. He knows what he's doing. He
Oh,
knows what he's
I
doing.
think you have a little bit of a disadvantage, and it's an advantage that all of your shows are recorded, aren't they? So your
Oh
kids
yeah.
will be able to go back and listen to those in 10 or 15 years, where mine, yes, were
Oh
not.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's all there. And honestly, I always say this, like at some point you were talking about how you had to be careful with your kids. I'm getting to an age where kids say to my kids at school, "Your mom's on the radio. We listened to your mom," or "We heard your mom talking about you." And now I'm to a point that I really have to make sure that I'm careful with what I say. When they a couple years ago, nah, nothing was off limits. Now I have to be way more careful about what I say because the teachers listen and the parents of the friends listen and just the random people that I know from school pickup, so I'm getting better as I get older, but there are certain things that I can't share about them like I once did.
It's hard because it's
It
part of
is.
your material and it's taken away.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's also part of being relatable as a parent,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You recently shared that Martha Stewart was struck by lightning 3 times.
Yeah.
And so I had not known that. And I think listeners just love those wild or shocking stories. So, something about yourself that maybe your audience would never guess. I know you're an open book, but
Okay. Maybe my audience would never guess. Um, I don't know. I feel like I share so much that as far as like what they would never guess about me. Oh, I really like hardcore rap music and I can rap certain songs from like the early 2000s word for word. Like I will kill an Eminem Forgot About Dre song. I will kill a Tupac song. I love to rap. That's
okay,
probably something I
I'm
don't.
really going to push you out of your comfort zone right now. Can you give me like one line of a rap? Rob,
Oh,
Rob
that's
is going to love me for
it's too
this.
appropriate. No, absolutely not.
Okay,
It's
listeners,
like
this means
all I
okay.
think is Nicki Minaj Anaconda, and I'm not doing that to you. All right, we're
Okay,
not doing that to you.
okay.
We
Fair.
want people to listen.
That's fair. That's fair. I appreciate your
Yeah.
professionalism on that one. Thank you. Okay, you have interviewed so many people, celebrities, community leaders, everyday heroes. So, who has left, and I'm sure there's more than one, but someone who's left a lasting impression on you?
Okay, you know who I interviewed a million years ago? Probably, oh my gosh, it was probably, this is more of like a hero that I got to interview. And it was, do you remember Captain Sully? He's the guy who landed the plane on the Hudson River and saved all those lives.
Yes.
So I never aired it. It was an interview. They said, "Do you want to interview him?" And I was like, "Yes, just let me interview him," because it didn't fit our station. But I recorded it, and I think I made a podcast about it. It was over 10 years ago. I have no idea where this podcast is now. We've had all new platforms and stuff, and technology's changed. But I interviewed Captain Sully and talked to him about landing that plane on the Hudson and saving all those lives, and that was very, very cool. Because like I don't think everybody works well under pressure, but his story of like knowing exactly what to do and like the panic and he saved all those lives. That was really cool. But I think one of the coolest celebrity interviews I had was Demi Lovato in Van Andel Arena, which is the arena in Grand Rapids. I got to interview her backstage early in the day before she took the stage. And that video is somewhere on YouTube. It was with my first morning show partner here in Grand Rapids. And she was so cool. And she's younger than I am, but like I'm sitting there talking to her. I did my research on like what to ask her and I felt so cool. And that interview is still on the internet somewhere.
I'll have to look for it then. That's
Yeah, it's very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, those are
Hmm.
some of those fun moments that you'll
Yeah.
always cherish. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally understand your fight or flight.
Yes.
'Cause I learned that I am a flight. I just kind of freeze and would not react well under
Really.
pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a moment in your life that completely changed you or maybe your perspective? Maybe it was personally or professional?
Just having kids, that changed my perspective on everything in my life becoming a mom, and like I know that's so cliche, but before I had the kids, I was wild. Like I was out a lot. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. And then my husband and I tried to have a baby and we had trouble having our first. And then I wanted it so bad. I'm the kind of person that like if I want something and I can't get it, I'll do everything. Like I will bang down every door, right? But in that situation, it was kind of just like a wait and see. And then when we had our daughter, I feel like my life changed, but it was one of those things, people are like, when you have kids, you're never going to have time to yourself. When you have kids, you're never going to see yourself the same. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do think my perspectives changed. My level of what was important changed and my priorities changed. But I don't think that it altered my life. Some people act like you'll never sleep again and like the world is ending and you'll never have a sense of self. I don't believe any of that. I think the station and my job gave me my purpose and sense of self outside of being a mom. But having kids and being a parent is quite literally the greatest thing I've ever done. And it's one of those things where I know I'm really good at my job, but I'm even better at being a parent.
I love that perspective. And it is so true. When I first became a mom and went back into the classroom teaching after my maternity leave, all of a sudden I was like, these are someone else's precious baby that they're sending
Yeah,
me. Or even when I do life coaching with teens now, it's like my heart is just so different.
it
It's
is. You think
important.
about things differently.
Hmm.
Yeah, we did that Make-A-Wish radiothon. And I don't think that I could have done so well with that Make-A-Wish radiothon without having my own children to sit there and put myself in the perspective of my kids being ill and not having any joy in their life. And then being able to sit there as a parent and do that, your perspective of life just changes so drastically. And I think that's why that radiothon was so successful, was that I could really put myself in the perspective of being a parent and what people go through.
Yeah, so true. When you get reflective,
Mhm.
if you could share one insight of someone juggling work, family, and then staying authentic,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Oh, I get reflective, I feel like, too much these days. I went to therapy a few years ago and it really helped open my eyes to being reflective because I feel like before I was kind of in a tunnel. And if there is anything I have learned through all of the juggling and the job and all that, your family is the most important thing on the planet. Like, if you're listening and you have kids, and there's nothing more important than that. But always take time for yourself. Always make sure that you are all right. Because if you're juggling too much and you're going home to take care of kids or, whoever, if you aren't taking care of yourself, it's a trickle down effect. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And there was a time where I felt so overwhelmed, especially when the kids were babies, because I was getting up at 4 a.m. and I was having to do, and I was breastfeeding and like doing all of these things. And I needed to sit. I think so often when I get reflective, I think that I wish I would have taken more time to sit and rest for me because the version of me that is unrested and not taking time for myself is not a version anybody wants to be around. It's important just from a mental health perspective to do that. And as far as juggling everything goes, routine, routine. That's my number one thing. My routine is my everything. And if my routine gets thrown off, then I have to like rework, and that gives me anxiety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're so right. Just to slow down and create space for the moments too. I just did a podcast about Christmas and how, as moms, you're so busy doing all the stuff and creating all the magic
Everything.
that often you just forget to pause and take it in and just to enjoy the moment with your kids.
Yeah.
Because my favorite quote, the days are long, but the years are short. And it just,
So
yeah,
true.
just to cherish
Mhm.
those.
So true.
I'm sure in your role, you get criticism, you get opinions. How do you handle that? And does it, uh, that's
It
hard.
used to bother me. It really doesn't anymore. People people have talked about the way I look. People have talked about my weight. People have talked about how annoying my laugh is, all of these things. But you know what I did that really helped is I started reading, look at my hat. I started reading the messages that I got on the air and it stopped it. So once I turned people in their own mirror and read what had been sent to me, people would attach their names. It was on social media. I would read it out loud and I would say, Mike Wachowski says, or whatever it is. And then I would read the comment and it got people to stop doing it. But I will tell you that no matter what, that stuff is hurtful. But like yesterday, I had somebody message in. We were playing There I Said It, which is where you just say how you feel about something and just say, there I said it. And somebody messaged in, Rob's 10 times funnier than Rachel. There I said it. That used to be something that would bother me. Now I'm like, I don't care. Like it is what it is. I think that you can't ever truly be happy with yourself until you stop caring what other people think. And in my role, you have to find a way to not care what other people think about you. Yeah.
It's hard. That's a hard one to learn. And I think it gets easier as you get older, but
Yeah.
that is tough. And I love the approach you took with that, reading them online. And you're right, it almost creates a mirror back where people get to see what jerks they were. And then other
Yeah.
listeners can chime in and give
Yeah.
them input like, hey, this is not
Yeah. Well, if you're going to write it on social media with your first and last name, I should be able to say it on the radio.
right. Right. I
Mhm.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great,
Mhm.
great strategy.
Yeah.
So for someone who is feeling stuck right now, or maybe life just isn't unfolding the way that they had expected, a mindset shift that you could offer?
I have to say, I think that I go back to this a lot, but I think anytime I've felt that I needed a mindset shift, I give myself a vacation. I know that sounds terrible, and that's not something that everybody can obviously do feasibly financially. But if you can take time away to actually reflect back on why you need that reset, because sometimes there's usually something that's a catalyst for it. I think when people need a reset sometimes, it's because they need to evaluate what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because I think we all get burnt out, right? We all get burnt out at work and we all get overly stressed. And if you need a reset, take it. Because, yeah, I think sometimes that when you have to change your mindset about something, you have to really remove yourself from the situation to see what your next step should be.
Great. Yeah, that is great advice. Yeah, sometimes a weekend can do it, but sometimes, yeah, you just need a
Sometimes you need
little bit
longer.
more.
Yeah.
If someone is listening and they want to start pursuing something, maybe they are afraid, or they just keep putting it off until later, what would
Yeah.
you say to them?
I love that question because I think that this goes back to like not caring what people think about you. Like, and I see this online a lot. People are so afraid to look stupid when really at the end of the day, whoever is judging you, it's likely you don't want their life anyway. Why do we care what they think about you? If there's something you want to start, just take the steps and do it. And if the thing that's holding you back is the judgment that you're going to get from other people, why does their opinion matter? Because it shouldn't. And I think so often people have these great ideas. I've been asked this question before. I think that so often people have these great ideas, but they're so afraid of looking stupid. Look stupid. I made a career out of looking stupid. I used to be so afraid of what I would say, and I would be so afraid of, oh my God, they're going to think this about me. They're going to think that. None of it matters. It matters what you think about yourself. But at the end of the day, like, just do it. If you don't take the first steps, you never will. And if you worry about what other people think about you, you'll never succeed.
Yeah, so great. Even, as women age and they don't want to wear a bathing suit or don't want to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
the body, most
Yeah.
of the time we care and we think people are watching us way more than they even are anyway.
Oh, yeah. When was the last time you went to the beach and saw a woman and went, oh my God, why is she wearing that? I'm not even paying attention. I'm too busy trying to get sandwiches out of the car. Like, that's the last thing I'm worried about.
Okay, last question,
Yeah.
Rachel. As a mom of 2 kids, when you think about them, what's one piece of advice that you hope they carry with them into their teen years, adult years?
So I am pretty big on teaching my kids because this is like the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. Like, what trauma is my child going to have because of me? I think about that all the time because like everybody's got their things with their own parents, And I think that as far as my kids go, I just hope they're kind. I have taught my kids beginning to end. Every single day we sit down at the dinner table and we do high-low buffalo, which is their high of the day, their low of the day, their buffalo, which was something they kind of liked. And then they have to also tell us one kind thing they did for somebody else. And maybe it was my son said the other day, helping somebody across the monkey bars. Or a friend of his, he taught him how to make a paper airplane, but he got frustrated. So he said, I just let Cal have mine. I think that making sure they are kind and they care about other people they don't know. It kind of goes back to like talking about getting out of my bubble and, you know, being a part of other cultures. And the one thing I hope that they take with them is just because somebody is different from you or somebody doesn't live the same way you do or believe the same way doesn't mean they deserve anything other than your kindness. And I just hope they still do that. I try and instill that every single day with just me asking what kind thing they did. So hopefully it sticks with them. We'll see.
I
Hmm.
think it will. And I see so many parallels with us. Mine that my mom taught me and that I passed on to our boys was to always treat the custodian of the building the same way that you would treat the president. And I think that is
Yes.
so important because at the end of the
Yes.
day, they're people. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what their role is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I always tell the kids too, they love just the same way we love.
Hmm.
And I think that's just such an important lesson. And I hope it sticks with them. Can you play this back for me in about 15 years? Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll report back.
Oh, I think it will be great.
I hope so.
Rachel, thank you so much for sharing your
Of
story, your
course.
humor, your heart. For listeners who want to know where to find you, can you share?
Oh, of course. So you can hear the Rachael Gray Show with Rob Sparks weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on 105.3 Hot FM in Grand Rapids. Now, if you're listening out of state, 1053hotfm.com. But you can also follow the Rachael Gray Show on all of our social media channels as well. But Carrie, thank you for asking me to do this. This was like refreshing for me today. People always only want to talk to me about celebrities or celebrity dirt. So it's kind of nice to sit here and do a podcast where people are asking about how my brain works. So I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. I know it's busy and it's easier to say no. And that's one thing I've learned in my life to prioritize, like you
Yeah.
mentioned. And it's so easy to say no. So to say yes, I'm
Hmm.
doing a 365-day connection. And I started in December of hard asks and just connections with people. And you were one of my hard asks. So when you
I
mentioned
was.
back that it was a yes, I was like, I was dancing in the kitchen. So
Oh my
thank
gosh, that's
you.
so awesome. Well, I'm happy I could be a part of this, and I appreciate you asking me to be part of this. And tell your sweet son Hayden I said hi.
I will do that. Okay. Thank you so much,
Of
Rachel.
course, Carrie. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Listeners, I encourage you to take a moment to think about one thing Rachel said that resonates with you. Think of a small action or a mindset shift you could take today to step closer to your own spark. Because remember, your life is your project as you elevate and continue to grow from the 1.0 version of yourself to the 2.0 and then the 2.2 version of you. This is Carrie at Project U 2.2. Have a great day.